This time last year, we celebrated one of the most accomplished seasons in Iowa golf history. It's a tall task to try and defend not only your Player of the Year title, but numerous tournaments throughout the season. Our 2023 Men's Player of the Year recipient, Nate McCoy, proved there are no pictures on the scorecard. Nate will be the first to tell you he didn't have his best game in 2023, but he refused to quit. Finding his groove at the right time, Nate was able to execute his greatest run at a USGA championship, securing his third straight season-long award. Let's recap.
Nate McCoy this past summer climbed the mountain again and reached a summit that has only been reached by one other player since 1960, winning his third Men's Player of the Year trophy in a row. Even with the responsibility of a young family and a full plate of job duties, Nate played well all summer. On the Iowa circuit, Nate consistently finished near the top of the leaderboard. Nate found himself trailing by over 300 points in the Player of the Year race. Nate had one tournament left, and it was a big one. The United States Mid-Amateur, held at Sleepy Hollow Country Club in New York. Nate qualified by finishing third in the qualifier, and then in his first match, Nate found himself tied going into the 18th hole. Feeling intense pressure, Nate heroically birdied that final hole, winning the match. The second match was even more difficult. Nate found himself well behind in the match on the back nine, but rallied with several dramatic birdies and won the match on the 18th hole again. Nate would fall in the round of 16, 3-1, to eventual champion Stewart Hagestad of Newport Beach, California. To keep it in perspective, this shows how close he really came to winning the entire tournament, duplicating his father's feat in 2013. Nate was quoted as saying that it was the best golf of his life that week. We cannot disagree. To quote Winston Churchill, "To each comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are tapped on the shoulder by destiny and offered the chance to do a very special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour." Nate was prepared for his finest hour and conquered it. Congratulations on your third consecutive Player of the Year award.
Well, my hands were a little sweaty there when I was giving them handshakes there, but no, this is a pretty surreal night. I just obviously I didn't, as you mentioned, I didn't necessarily have maybe the greatest year in comparison to last year, but I think that goes to show really the testament of the golfers that we have here in Iowa and just how good golf is in our state. Just the stuff that took place this year. Charlie Hoyle had an amazing run, and Zach May and Connor Peck and all these guys. These are the guys that I really enjoy getting to play with every week, and it really makes playing in all these events worth it. So can't thank those guys enough for what they do to for how good they are and what they do. I was gonna obviously thank my wife first, but my daughter, she's 7 years old. It was her first time coming to this, and she happened to not start. She started not feeling too well, and my wife had to take her home. So my wife texted me and said that she's home with a puke bucket, sleeping on next to her pillow. So and then usually the puke's my job, so I hope she doesn't do anything right. But no, before I get going, I do want to thank, congratulate all the other annual award winners. I've gotten to know a lot of you throughout the years working with the Iowa Golf Association, and I can tell you just personally, you're all just some of the most wonderful people I've gotten to work with, and I'm very honored to be up here, standing here tonight. Chris Cohen, actually, I did want to make a mention. It was nice to hear that Chris is still pretty involved with the juniors out at Glen Oaks, and when I was growing up at Glen Oaks, there was a time I actually kind of got corrected by Chris. We were, being a dumb kid, they have ropes up and to keep you off certain areas of turf, and we're watching all the older members, and all the older members are always stepping on the rope and walking over, and me and a buddy of mine were doing the same thing, and Chris drove up and corrected us and said, you guys are worse than members, and that really stuck with me, and that was a good lesson for me to learn at a young age, so I'm glad to hear that you're still involved with the kids at Glen Oaks, and don't stop correcting us, because it pays off in the long run, and it definitely did for myself. So thanks, Chris. So I do want to thank my wife. If she was here, she'd be able to hear this, but she's never complained once throughout the whole deal. I mean, since I started dating her to now, I mean, I don't think there's been a single time that she's complained of me playing golf or traveling or doing any of that. So that's pretty rare, and considering how much I've gone for work and for everything else, it really means a lot to have her support. For my daughter being here, I was excited to bring her here tonight, just because as a young kid, I was always attending these for my dad, and so it was kind of neat to be able to bring her tonight, even though she's not here. But it was special. I don't know if I'd ever imagined that I'd be in that position at this point in my life, having a child that I could actually bring to something like this. So it's pretty special. I want to start thanking the IGA staff as well. I mean, these guys are basically like my family, and my wife doesn't complain, and the staff I work with don't complain either. So they give me a lot of, at least not to my face, I should say. But they've been great. Super supportive. The first people I talk to, I come into work after an event, and they hear everything, so they know what's going on in my life, and they know how hard it can be at times, and so I really want to thank them. Just an unbelievable staff. Carly, I don't think anyone's thanked you yet, but Carly put together all these videos tonight with Charlie, Charlie's voiceover. So Carly, thank you very much for doing that, and you did a lot of work. A lot of hours, so we appreciate that. I want to thank Chelsea Soda. She's here. She's been a golf instructor of mine, really more of a friend, I should say, for the last couple of years. And I wasn't really able to work with her as much this year as I would have liked, which is probably why I didn't play maybe as well. But really thankful for her help and friendship. She actually helped me out a lot at the beginning of this year. I wasn't necessarily too excited about the season, just because of how I was starting off, looking at how many events I had, how many events I was going to be working, other engagements I had, such as going to the Walker Cup and to play the Sunnyhanna Amateur in Pennsylvania. And so I knew I was going to be gone a lot, and when you're kind of seeing what you got in front of you for the next 4 or 5 months, it can knock you down, and it kind of knocked me down mentally and emotionally, and I didn't really necessarily have a big drive to go play this year. And I saw Chelsea kind of early on in the season, and really helped. She kind of understands that golf's not always sunshine and rainbows, and that having somebody that kind of gets it and somebody that you can talk to about it was really, really helpful for me. I just definitely felt like, sometimes you just need to talk more than you actually need to have a lesson. So I appreciate that, and thank you for all you've done. I guess there's one other person, Paige Hoffman. So I I don't know if you guys knew, but Paige Hoffman actually interned with us this year. She was actually my intern, handicapping course rating intern, and Paige is probably, if anybody that knows Paige knows, she's obviously one of the most positive, just big, ball of sunshine, and just brings just a whole positive feel to everything we do, and it was really special to be able to do this, tonight, and stand up here along with her. She obviously had a better year and played great, so I was really excited for her, and I want to thank her for all her help that she gave me this season. We actually practiced a lot after work, and I don't know if I would have gone and practiced if it wasn't for Paige, pulling me out there, and I think I probably got a little bit more excited about her game than I did mine, so I just want to thank you and congratulate you as well. Looking back on this year, obviously the accomplishments are great, but the experiences I've had and the friendships I've made really are what matter most to me and what I'm going to remember down the road. We had some real fun times. For anybody that was on our Iowa Cup team, we actually won our first Cup match in I don't know how many years. John, probably 8 or 9 years. I don't know. So yeah, Greg Mason's here. Greg probably, you guys have got us for a long time, and it was nice to finally get you this year. But I do want to, Drake Elgren, want to shout out to Drake. He had 2.5 points for us this year, so that was that came through pretty big for us. And looking back, I think that was it was a nice moment, especially after a long season. But really, the friendships are what matter most. I got to play with a guy named Trent Lindeman this year for the first time, and really hit it off with him. Obviously, he's a great guy, and really those are the things that I'm going to remember. Is just the relationships, and obviously getting to go to the Walker Cup and support my dad, and actually Tina as well. For all those that don't know, Tina has a pretty big job as well as kind of the team mom, and she did a great job. And as a team, you guys both led the United States to a great victory, and really made me proud. And you gave me a great moment on 18, being able, right after you guys won, and you had me come under the ropes and ride up in the cart with you. I mean, that was a pretty special moment for me, and something that I'm gonna, hold very close for quite a long time. It was pretty cool. So, something that I guess talking a little bit about the mid-amateur. For a lot of people that don't know or didn't follow real closely, my dad actually had to withdraw from the U.S. mid-amateur this year. He got sick pretty much right after the Walker Cup, and he didn't end up playing any practice rounds, and so I flew up to New York by myself and played a couple practice rounds and played a couple with John Olson, and I was hitting the ball awful. I couldn't hit the fairway, and the rough was like 6-7 inches, and I felt like I had no chance. And so I called my dad, and he wasn't there yet, and thankfully this is the one time where it actually worked out, where somebody was sick, and he ended up bringing like 3 new drivers for me to try, and so that was actually made the difference. I put one of them in the bag without even trying it on the golf course, and so I was thankful for that. But right afterwards, we started the event, and he ends up withdrawing, and I get a call, and he's telling me he's on oxygen and all this stuff, and and I'm thinking he's going to be in the hospital, and I'm just kind of I was obviously a little worried about him. So, but it was kind of surprising. The next day, he was very adamant that he was going to caddy for me, and so I had him on the bag, which was really cool for the second qualifying round, and pretty much any cooler he could find, he was sitting on to rest. So, I was real thankful to have you on the bag that week. And I think for those that know my dad and know me, we kind of play the game a little differently, and he's pretty intense, and I might be, but maybe not the same way. And so I think it kind of took him getting sick to actually calm him down a little bit. And I think that's probably why we did okay that week. But no, it's pretty special. I don't know how many of those we're gonna be able to play together, but we've played 3 or 4, 5, I can't remember, USGAs together, and so it's been pretty special. And those are really the moments that I'm gonna remember. And that's kind of it. But really, guys, thank you for everything, and for all you other players of the year. You guys had great seasons. It's fun to watch as a staff member, and looking forward to next year. So thank you.